Okay, so we're going to be talking about how we've helped clients to be able to build an outbound system that allows them to generate business without needing to rely on referrals, ads, content marketing, or needing to burn hours on outreach platforms or hire hordes of SDRs to do their selling for them. We're going to be talking about various different clients today. We're going to go over some examples in web design and branding. We're going to look at some remote photography. We're going to look at some recruitment examples. We're then going to look at some video company examples as well at the end. So let's get started with Tom and Bold. So Bold is a web design company, established web design company in the recruitment niche. When Tom came to us, it was a bit of a unique situation because they'd already built out a really solid market, and Bold were in a very good place before coming to us. I think what the issue was that because of their success, they'd almost paused their lead generation for a while, and there was almost like a 2-year gap between when they paused and then when they wanted to start things, back up again. So what that meant is there was a bit of a knowledge gap in terms of the team still thought that they could just rely on the old way to generate leads. So, just set up a few domains, spray and pray and get a load of leads through the door. But in 2025's landscape, it just doesn't work like that. So what we did for Tom is we helped him to build an outbound system to put BD and lead gen back on autopilot in a way that was better optimized for 2025's landscape. So you can see the stats here: 61,000 emails sent, 70 ideal recruitment companies added to the pipeline within the 6-month period that we've been working together so far. And an interesting fact about this project is that there is still less spend up to this point than what just one of these projects from one of these 70 ideal recruitment companies would bring them in terms of revenue. So it just speaks on the cost effectiveness of cold email as a channel. And if proposals aside, this is just person to person advice, cold email is probably one of the most cost effective ways. Even if you don't use us, even if you just set it up yourself, it is one of the most cost effective ways to take your offer to market and generate leads from your wider market, again, without needing to rely on inbound referrals. You can take offers directly to market and build pipeline not like this, and when deals cross the line, the ROI can be a lot more favourable compared to other channels that I've just mentioned there. Next then, we've got remote photography. So Sarah is a really talented salesperson. Cadence runs a brilliant company. It's a very unique offer. Basically, this company works with accounting firms and legal firms to become their remote photography partner. So a big challenge for these firms is that it can be quite a high churn industry, and the idea of having to constantly book in person shoots and coordinating them across different offices is a real pain. So Sarah standardizes this to just one unique remote process. And you can see here, these are some of the results that she's been able to get from our system. This was a bit of a unique project because we had to do quite a lot of testing in terms of the messaging to really get it right. Initially we thought that people would be really interested in trying out a free headshot. Turns out people didn't really care, which again is just evidence of why cold email is also a really good channel, because you can test these different assumptions that you have about your market. If you think that they might respond well to a certain thing, let's test it. If it works, great. If it works, no problem, we'll just set up a different campaign, so it can be really, really good once you've kind of got a product down and you've got a few case studies. How can we now find message market fit to really scale this up to the wider market? And that's exactly what we've done for Cadence in this situation. So next we've got recruitment companies. So recruitment companies are slightly different because it involves a bit of market mapping and a few more automations to map everything into the CRM that our client uses. But this is Simon from Optio Resourcing. So Simon works with shop fitting companies in the retail space. And ultimately he needed help with mapping out some of the ideal clients that he already had just in a spreadsheet, and then also taking outreach to the wider market as well and developing conversations and relationships with companies that he wasn't yet aware of. And you can see here, these are some of the typical responses that we've been getting back from our campaigns. And a big use case of us in Simon's business is that we're taking away that time that he doesn't want his consultants to be putting time into. So, things like mapping out data, scraping LinkedIn, all of that stuff. He just wants his consultants to purely be doing one thing, and that's hitting the phones and, speccing CVs to these ideal companies that he wants to sell into. So that's just some evidence from recruitment. And then next we've got video production. So video production companies we've been working with for quite a long time now. This is like one of our main marketing arms that we work with. So this is Noah from Optical Marine. He's a busy founder. He also competes in the 49ers class out on the water down in Devon. So he's very busy with obviously balancing competitions, then also delivering work for his clients, and he needed a way to be able to bring in projects that wasn't just relying on them to come to him. But obviously he didn't have the time to actually go and set up a system in place to be able to do that, right? So that's where we came in, and you can see here one of the projects that Noah has recently closed. After this, Noah messaged me saying that after that one had closed, another one had then closed straight away from that after he delivered the work. And this meant some really nice just revenue just to see him through like a good two, I think he said a couple of quarters just while he was competing. So yeah, now we kind of work with Noah on like a project basis. So whenever he needs some outreach, we're here. We'll come in. We'll help him. We'll just push out any marketing that he wants to do and help him to win a few projects off the back of that. So it keeps Noah's revenue ticking over, keeps things consistent for him, and allows him to win ongoing work off the back of the clients that we bring him as well. On the note of video production, we then got John from Noravera. So John runs a Canadian video production company called Noravera. I think the challenge for John is that he had a lot of different offers that he wanted to be pushing out, and the struggle for John, it was quite a delay actually starting up with John and actually signing the contract, just because there was a lot of stuff that he was working on in terms of the website and getting all the things nailed in terms of the brand. And he was finding it tough to kind of standardise all these offers under one website. So the way that we helped with that is that we kind of took that pressure off a bit, and we helped him to design these outbound specific assets. And we took each of his offers to the market individually to different markets, right? What that meant for John is that he didn't need to put as much pressure on trying to fit all these different offers into one place. He could just focus on making his landing pages and his brand as clear as possible. While we obviously handled the outbound comms and pushing out each of these offers individually. And you can see here some of the wins that John has been getting lately. I think we're only 2 months into this system, so again, as you can understand, no closes as of yet, but it's looking very likely that some are going to come from this, as you can see in the message that John has sent up here. So all in all, very positive for video production companies. We're very confident in that space, as we are all the others that I've just mentioned in this video. So in general, what is the problem for a lot of these companies? Like what do we think is the main problem for these companies before they start working with us? And the main thing that we've brought it down to is that you need to outsource this responsibility of finding a way to get leads through the door at the top of the funnel, but you don't want to do it in a way that involves massively increasing your headcount internally or hiring loads of SDRs that you need to manage. You also need to do it in a way where you can put it on autopilot so that there's less time and effort for you, but you don't have the knowledge or the time yourself to go and actually set up a system like this on something like SmartLead or HeyReach or Instantly or similar tools. So we come into this process with our Zender product framework. So 6 simple steps. The first thing that we do is we'll set you up a secondary infrastructure. So whatever your primary domain is that your website's on right now, we're going to set up a load of secondary domains that are similar to that. We're going to set up a bunch of email accounts on each of those domains, and we're going to warm that up, and that's going to be the infrastructure that we send from. We're then going to collect data, so this involves mapping out your ideal markets. We'll learn from you what your ideal client is, and then we'll go and find a load of them via Apollo, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Appify, various different tools that we have that we use to scrape data. We then write email copy. So once we've found valid emails and we've verified them, what we'll then do is usually put together three-step sequences, and each email in those sequences are roughly 3 to 4 lines long. We work with you on the copy because obviously your knowledge is very important of your business and of your market as well. It makes the copy more unique, it makes it more relevant, definitely a collaborative process on that one. We've then got deliverability. So after all that stuff's mapped out, we're then obviously going to warm up your email accounts, perform regular inbox placement tests, remove any spam words from your email copy that we put together that will typically flag spam filters. We definitely put a lot of time into this part because it's important for the ongoing health of our infrastructure that we do this. Next part is then hand over leads to you via our web app, which I'm just going to talk about in a moment, and then optimize it after the first 60 days to really set in place that kind of system to scale and that repeatability of the campaigns that we've put together. So what does the lead management and handover process actually look like then? So for every client, we standardize it like this. So we're going to add you to a Slack channel. That'll be called an inbox management channel. Whenever we get a new interested lead, you'll get notified in Slack. That lead will then get pushed into the web application that we've built from the ground up. In there, you'll be able to have a master inbox, a pipeline and a master inbox that will pull all of the positive responses from all of the inboxes that we set up into one place for your team to then manage. And then if you want us to actually get involved in that and actually help you to book meetings in with these ideal clients that are coming into your pipeline, then we also have a concierge service on the back of that as well that allows you to get access to sales talent to be able to do that. For most of these clients that I've mentioned here, they're currently handling leads themselves in the web application. It's the more cost-effective approach, and for a lot of companies it works really well. Here you can see Alex from Bold booking meetings through the application as well. So just some proof here that obviously the system works. If you are someone who doesn't really need an SDR, you can easily use our web app to go and book meetings in for yourself. Okay, so what does all this mean anyway for you? So as a company looking at us, what does all this mean? Like what will this actually lead to for your business? Now, the main things that I'd boil this down to, the first is that you can test and scale what's already working. So you as a business, you've come to us, you feel confident that you've standardized your delivery out, you've got some really good case studies, but you just don't have enough top of funnel interest. You've got a traffic problem. Now, to really work out how to best convert that traffic into leads, you need to be able to test things, right? You need to be able to see what people respond best to at the top of the funnel. So message market fit is very different to product market fit. Yes, your product might speak volumes to your ideal clients, but say, for example, if you're in a saturated market, if you just sell the product as what it is, you probably won't get much interest at the top of the funnel. So we need to test things that make your offer unique. What are your USPs? What makes you stand out? Cold email is a very good channel to be able to do that. It's very easy to do that, and that's what you'll get access to with us. The next point is that it is, similar to what I was saying with Bold, it is the most cost-effective growth channel. Like, even at this point, 6 months in, Bold is still, the spend that Bold has put into this is still less than just what one of those companies that we've got in will bring him in terms of revenue, and that is the ultimatum of this. It is that scalable, it is that cost-effective. And all this means that obviously with more leads coming top of funnel, if you have truly, if you mean what you tell us and you are being correct in the sense, or you are right in the fact that you have standardized your delivery, that's going to mean more leads through the door, which is obviously going to lead to more deals, more revenue, the ability to outsource as you grow. And as when you're ready, we also give you a path to actually internalize the system. If you do bring someone in internally, there is also a path with us to be able to internalise the system as well. So that's just a TLDR in terms of what this actually means for you as the business owner. That's just a run through really in terms of some of the social proof, how we build our systems, some of the outcomes that we've generated for previous clients and current clients as well. And if you do have any questions that you want to ask me following on from this, just feel free to drop me a message either in response to this video, or just drop me a message on LinkedIn and I'll get back to you there. Thank you.